Hello, my friends. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're ready for another YouTube video from your old buddy, Dadcraft73. We're back here playing one man, one mod, trying to learn everything that we can, I guess within reason, about IndustrialCraft 2. And today is the day, the final episode. So we're going to do a little bit of like, let's talk through some stuff. And then we're going to try to go out with a bang. I've got some stuff set up over there. Yeah, we'll go over there in just a minute. Anyway, let's talk about what we've got going on around, what we've learned. First of all, we learned that the diamond drill is amazing. It does pretty good. It needs to have power. It's not as good as like when we did immersive engineering. It's not as good as the crazy drill from IE. Man, that was amazing. I love that thing. Man, I want to make one of those the next chance I get for sure. But the diamond drill is pretty good. Anytime you can get a tool that you can create and repair, in quotes, using power, man, I'm down with that for sure. That's awesome. We also learned that we have to be super careful, and I mean super careful about how we hook up these machines. We have to remember that when we look at stuff like a macerator, right, and we see that he is power tier 1, that means he can only take 32 EU per tick inbound. Any more than that, and it's bad, right? Explosions. Bad things happen. And we've definitely had a couple of those happen over these last 29 episodes, for sure, where we've blown up some things. The other thing that we have to remember is once we place these machines down, with the exception of the generator, which we don't even have running anymore, but the generator is the only block that you could actually break with like a pickaxe and get it back. All the rest of these different blocks and things, you have to use a wrench to break them. Either you use the electric wrench that we've made, or you can use the sort of like 5 or 10, 20 time use regular wrench made with bronze. So you have to make sure that if you're going to pick these machines up, that you use the wrench on those guys. Yeah? We've also learned about things like pulling upgrades and ejecting upgrades that will allow you to pull items from an adjacent inventory and then eject them into another inventory. So the pulling upgrades are side-based, so you pick the side you want them to import from, and you shift right-click on that. You pick the side you want to export from, shift right-click to that, and then you can do a little bit of ore processing, right? So this little chain right here was import to the macerator, export to a chest, import to the furnace, export to a chest. Yeah. We also learned about solar panels, super expensive, and only really good if you're going to make a ton of them, right? Each one of these guys does 1 EU per tick. You can see it if we mouse over it, generating 1 EU per tick, right? Not a whole lot of power being generated. But when you have a huge bank of them, like we do, 64, we're actually generating 64 EU per tick from those crazy guys when the sun is out, which is not too bad. Definitely works. We've got them kind of all hooked up there, feeding into our MFE. It's got 3 million power sitting in that bad boy. It's pretty good. We also learned that if you have high levels of power, you see that this MFE has a max output of 512 EU per tick, that you can use things such as MV transformers and LV transformers to step that power down so you can feed it into to machines that take a lower amount of power, right? Very, very important. One of my guys in my Discord channel, Crash, was saying today that he had a catastrophic failure today. He hooked up a cable incorrectly, and it fed high power into one of his machines, which in turn exploded and ended up exploding his entire nuclear reactor. So this whole deal about how different power goes to different tiers of machines, man, it cannot be overstated. Please make sure that you always get that in the back of your mind. You're always thinking about that when you're hooking up power. The best way to do it is to hook up power to these machines, or hook up cables to these machines before you even get the power running, because you don't want to make a mistake, right? So what we should have done whenever we hooked up these guys is broke this guy ran all our machines how we wanted to, and then made very, very carefully sure that we're only sending in 32 EU per tick on these. Yeah? Okay. The other thing that we learned that I think is super important to mention again is that IC2 machines are super, super slow on their own. They're not very fast. So things like overclockers reduce the amount of time it takes to process through those, and the value of those cannot be understated. It's a huge, huge benefit for sure to get yourself some overclockers. Remember, we build up some solar distillers, and we've got them run into a tank, which is it's actually clear full now, and we used distilled water to reduce the material component costs of overclockers. Or if you use distilled water, you can use a single piece of crushed lapis to get yourself one of the coolant cells. Otherwise, you have to use more, right? If you're using just regular water. So distillers, good thing to have running. They're super slow. So as many of these as you can build, man, it's money, 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 money. That's for sure. What else did we learn that is probably? Oh, here's one thing that we learned. Let's go into hover mode real quick. We learned that we can pump water out of a huge body of water, an infinite source. We have to make sure that we turn our pump so this little great thing faces down. That's a good thing to remember, so then we don't have to worry about not understanding how that works. And we also spent some time learning about the steel production process and using electric sorting machines and compact item buffers. Sorting machines are essentially sided, and you can send items out through a different way, either up, down, north, west, south, east, however you want to do it. And then the compact item buffer essentially just holds items, and then you can eject those items. So we're ejecting them down into the compressor, and that's how we automated our steel process. These are pretty powerful. Again, if you're playing a mod pack that's got a bunch of pipes or some other way to move items, I mean, that's probably a better thing to use, but this is certainly worthwhile. I think this setup right here is without a doubt worthwhile to recreate. That's for sure. Let's see. We learned about the miner. Not the advanced miner. I mean, it works essentially the same way, but we learned about the miner and how it's pretty cool and it works okay, but you have to keep moving it, right? So it's all right. And if you can set up a way where you can automatically like move this thing, like you have all the infrastructure at like a destination point, and you move the miner and put it back and it fires up, and then you move the infrastructure, you could get away with it. But I mean, really, it's almost easier just to go mining if that's your only mining solution. Man, if it's not and you have other things that you want to do, certainly use the miner. I mean, it will do a fair radius, and if you have the advanced one, the radius is even bigger, so it'll find materials that maybe you forgot or didn't know they were down there. So it's worth maybe exploring if you don't have any other way to mine, for sure. We built ourselves a nano suit, which wasn't too expensive, holds 1 million EU per piece, and we found some iridium shards so we could make the jetpack attachment so we could fly. You see the electric jetpack attached. Without this nano suit, the electric jetpack only holds 30,000 EU, which goes away in a hurry, but now it essentially holds 1,030,000 EU, which is pretty nice. Right? We have the ability to fly. I mean, it's not like super great. It's not super fast, but, you know, it gets the job done. You don't have to worry about having ladders, and we can hover and stuff like that. So we do have sort of creative flight, just not super fast creative flight. It's still okay. Yeah. We spent a little bit of time, not a whole lot, investigating the crop system with IndustrialCraft 2, and we were able to get to the point where we could breed up some of these stickweed plants. They work pretty good. We're able to get lots of resin off those. We never found potatoes, ever. Nope. So we've been living on carrots, but that's okay. I don't mind living on carrots. It's all good in the hood. And really, that's about it, I think. We learned about rubber trees and tree taps and extractors and, you know, all the different ways that you can produce rubber. We learned about all the different machines, the metal formers and the compressors and the macerator and the furnace and the block cutting machine and the blast furnace, the industrial centrifuge, the canning machine, all of that kind of stuff we learned about. So I think we're in pretty good shape. So if ever we need to play a mod pack that's got IndustrialCraft 2 in it, and we need to cycle all the way from the very, very beginning up to the point where we can make big old nuclear reactors, we even learned how to make one of those, and it's been stable, no problem whatsoever. And I guess finally, over these last couple episodes, we learned how to sort of dip into some of the more advanced setups in IndustrialCraft 2 with the idea of producing UU matter from power and scrap, and then using the scanner and the replicator and the part storage to actually replicate items that we might want to have. So that's all pretty cool as well. Let's see. So we talked about nuclear reactors and how nuclear reactors, if you don't set them up just right, if you don't set them up just right, bad things happen. So I've got a bunch of nuclear reactors built over here. There's 4, 5, 6, and then a 7 one right there in the entrance to our tunnel. And all I did, you can see there, this is actually a copy of my world. This isn't my real world. But I went into creative mode, and I cheated in a whole bunch of stuff to make nuclear reactors, and I just kind of loaded them up with however. These are not valid configurations for these guys. And I figure we should at least demonstrate what happens when you fire these things up and you have made a mistake in your configuration. So, for instance, let's go over here and flip this lever. Oh. Okay. Oh my goodness. That was a huge explosion. Uh-oh. Let's get our boat and go over there and see. I don't know how much of the island's even left. Where is that island? Where was it? Over here, this is our mining island? Yeah, okay. So, we just fired up... Oh my goodness. I think all those nuclear reactors may have blown up at the same time. I was thinking just those 2 would, but maybe the explosion has caused... Oh no, there's one left. We have one left. There's my grave up there in the middle of nowhere. So, a bunch of these nuclear reactors just went off. They exploded. And we can see the hole they made. Substantial. Right, this island is essentially pretty much gone after that explosion. So, without a doubt, nuclear reactors, I wish I had been able... You know what we should do? Let's blow this last one up, and we will go into creative mode just so we can see the sheer power. Let's do this right here. So, let's go like that. Okay, now I won't die. So let's go over here and grab our stuff. I want to have my suit, man. It's super cool. Okay. Oh no, I want this guy. Can I put this stuff on? Yeah, okay. There we go. All right, good. All right, so awesome. So now let's look at this guy right here. It's just got a bunch of fuel rods in it. Let's turn it on. Yeah. There. You can see the blast radius that this thing just had. That is pretty insane. So, I mean, nuclear reactors, man, you have to make sure you build them the right way. Now, I taught you, or we went over, I mean, it wasn't my design, it was somebody else's design, but we went over the process for building a nuclear reactor that is 100% safe. So if you want to build one in your world, make sure you build it just like that. You make it so it's set up the exact same way. You spend the time and grind out all those resources, and that's the kind of nuclear reactor you want to make for sure. So don't be messing around. Build them right, or you will be very sad. So this island used to be a nice little flower forest paradise, and now it's nothing but a twisted and broken wreck of an island. All right, let's get over here. Here, let's get out of creative mode. Can I fly? Oh man, when I went in creative mode, it took all the charge away from my... Oh, maybe it actually tried to keep me alive. That actually may be what happened. It was probably dead to begin with. It probably tried to keep me alive and used all the power inside that nanosuit before it failed. Oh well, what are you gonna do? So I think that is gonna bring an end. I have my world still with that island intact. I'm in a copy of that world because I didn't want to just cheat stuff in. I'm a big believer in playing the way you're supposed to play. So this is a copy of that world, but I wanted to be able to blow up some nuclear reactors, and man, we certainly did. You can see it's a wasteland over there now. So if you're going to build nuclear reactors, here's my advice. Build them away from your base. Don't put them in your base. There's no reason to put them in there. Find a way to run the power, you know, using glass fiber cables or something like that, and get that power back to your base some other place. In my Age of Engineering world, where we have 3 nuclear reactors running pretty much all the time, or at least we did, those are down deep in a hole. So we don't have to worry about that. Man, I think that's going to do it. It's a short episode, but this was just kind of messing around, recapping some of the stuff we've done. Tomorrow begins Season 3. And I know you guys are gonna want to hear a spoiler. No spoilers. You're going to see. The pack will be available for you to download as soon as my episode goes live. Remember, if you're going to upload or download the new version of the pack, version 3 for Season 3 with the new mod and mods in it, make sure you uncheck the box on the Twitch launcher not or you want it to update to a new profile. You don't want to keep your old one because it'll erase your world, and maybe you want to keep it forever. I don't know. It's up to you. That's what I've done. I still have my Season 1 world, and I have my Season 2 world, and I'm going to have a Season 3 world here pretty soon. So until, I guess, tomorrow when we start Season 3, thank you so much for all your support and for watching this crazy series and playing along with me, and unfortunately some of you blowing up your stuff, blowing up your machines, and some of you even gone further than we did. But I think we've got a really good basis for IndustrialCraft 2, and it's time to move on to something else. So until then, please remember to be cool. Don't be a fool. And from my one-man, one-mod IndustrialCraft 2 spotlight tutorial walkthrough survival play game thing, I guess we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.